Okay, I'm really excited to be announcing this feature today, which is going to be storing a customer credit card. This is available right now only for those that are using Authorize.net for your payment gateway because, this is kind of a prototype for this feature, and then we'll be implementing this for Stripe. And really, this is the precursor to being able to do recurring payments. We had to have the ability to save card payment data so that we could put the payment in when it's time. And we just didn't have that before. We're using Authorize.net's Customer Information Management API, which means we store all the credit card information on their system. And then we just store a token that points to the customer profile and the card. So we don't store anything on our system, and that makes PCI compliance a lot easier. Let Authorize.net worry about all that, and we just worry about building a great interface. So let's jump into just looking at how it works. If it's a customer, I'm going to log in probably and make a payment on something. So let's click Add a Payment. Let's pick one of these invoices, credit card, put a note here, test, and we'll click Continue. So here is our new screen. Since we don't have any cards stored, it's going to basically pop up the screen there and prompt me to enter one. So I'm going to just grab a test Visa number that I've got here, and I'm just going to be putting in anything in here for the expiration date. So that's it. So let's click Save. We've got our card ready to go here. And once we do that, since it's the first card, well, actually any card that you enter will become the default. You can always revert back to another one if you want. But basically, once we just did that, this is ready to go. All I got to do is put that CVV code. If I mouse over, it tells me as a customer, tells me what that's for. Okay, I just look on the back of the card, put the 3 digits in, and now this will submit and make a payment on this card. If we want to add a new card, let's say we're coming in and we already have this one card, but we want to use a new credit card. Once again, I'm going to grab another card number here. Here's a test MasterCard number. I'm going to click Add. Put the card number. I just pasted it in. And let's put a different expiration date. And get that spelling right. And we'll add the MasterCard. And that will set the default as the MasterCard now, as you can see. It's over here, and it will select it for our payment, which we can still click Cancel on. But just click there or there. It's really easy to switch between which cards you want to use. Let's add one more. Let's put American Express. Let's add the card. Once again, paste that in. Put some. By the way, this address information that pre-populates, that comes from the customer's stored data, so you can just override this if you want to. I'm just, to make it easy, keeping the default. So let's add that American Express card there, and now it became the default. But just for the sake of argument here, let's say we don't really want that default. We want the MasterCard the default. So I just click that, and now it preloaded. So I'm going to go back to the summary screen really quick here just to show you what will happen. So I've got 3 cards stored, and I have a default. So let's click Add Payment, and now as soon as it loads, it should pre-populate my default, which is that MasterCard. Let's make sure it works. It's loading the cards, and yeah, it loads the MasterCard for me. All I got to do is put the 3-digit code in, maybe if I want to make a note, and then click Submit Payment. It's really going to be, it's just great. Customers that you have that make a payment often or monthly are going to love the fact that they don't have to type that all in again. And theoretically, you may want to have some kind of billing agreement with a client. You can also go in on behalf of a customer, for example, do a login as, or do it from the other side of the on the staff side of the portal and enter a credit card payment. However, that's going to be a little difficult right now because I do have the CVV code being mandatory, so I may change that if it makes sense that it's not this code will not be required if it's a staff member logged in, because in that case it might be a card not present charge. So we'll think about that. All right, and so we're in a payment screen here. We have an amount already specified here, but what if I'm just logged in as a customer and I just want to go in and modify my credit cards or manage them. It's easy. You just go into your customer profile settings here. I think you can also do that. Yeah, from here, edit profile. And as long as you have authorized.net as a payment gateway enabled, you're going to get this new link here called Manage My Credit Cards. So if I click that, you'll get the same type of screen. It's just that all it does is let you manage the cards, so it doesn't do a payment here. It just lets you edit, add, delete, whatever. So there's a management interface for this as well. So all of this functionality is available on the staff side of the portal. In fact, here I'll show you that. Let me go back into my session, and I'm on that customer. If I scroll down to billing automation, there's my link, manage customers credit cards. If I click it, it's kind of like manage users, which will log me in as that customer and let me manage their sub users. This will do the same thing. It'll log me in as the customer and take me right to that screen. I'll show you. And it goes right to the credit card screen. If I go back to my session as a staff user, it'll get me right back to the screen. So it's really easy to go back and forth. And then just like before, if I go ahead and click add payment, and remember I'm on the staff side of the portal now, but let's just do the same thing. Let's just do it just as if we were the customer. Let's click that same invoice, click continue, and it's the same exact interface. I mean, it's going to load the cards, see? And again, I have to know this code, but I think the idea is going to be that if I'm logged in as a staff user, that this is not going to be mandatory. Probably by the time you view this video, we'll have that changed. And I also don't want this error message on the top here because it blocks using the cancel button. That's no good. So I think we're going to put it underneath. And all the functionality works as well. So if I'm on the phone with a client and they want to just give the credit card number over the phone, I can just click the add new card here and enter the data, and it'll save the card. Anyway, it's important to keep in mind that once you get past this point, you enter the transaction, or you submit the payment, everything should work just the same as it always has. You're going to get the payment complete, and then it'll take you to the payment receipt. So from that point on in the process, nothing has changed. This is just really at this point adding a level of convenience for your customers that they didn't have before. So I think that it's going to be much appreciated. Anyway, so that's it. Like I said before, implementation for this will be coming for Stripe, and then we're going to be pushing forward with setting up support for recurring payments. As always, if you run into any problems using this, the new payment screens here, definitely open up a support ticket right away so that we can get any bugs worked out. Okay, quick update here. This is just about to go live, and then I realized I'm missing one little thing here, and that is if customers do not wish to store the card or save a card, we really need to have a way to opt out and just enter a one-time payment. So all I did was, for example, if we click add payment, and let's pick this invoice, credit card. With no cards stored right now, it's going to default to the pop-up. It's going to ask if you want to put a card in or add a credit card. So all I did was I just added this link, which just says I don't want to save my card, and take me to the one-time payment screen. If the customer clicks that, you just end up here, which is the original screen that's always been there for credit card payments on authorized.net. So you have to enter everything every time you make a payment. But if the customer doesn't feel comfortable with saving the card, that's okay. They can just go ahead and put it in manually. And the option is still there. So for example, if we do enter a card at any time, one moment here. So for example, in this case, we have one card stored, and it's going to default to wanting to charge this card. At any time, you can always revert to using the one-time payment screen. So if you want to use a different card, but it's not one that you want to store, you just know you're not going to use it again, you'll click this link. It's the same one on the other pop-up, and you can just do a single payment. So it just gives a little bit more flexibility, and I thought it made sense to have that option in there, so it's there.